So it is with great pleasure once again I welcome you to the 40th annual general meeting. And indeed, I thank each one of you who have made it convenient to attend this virtual meeting. The annual report for the year ended 31st March 2020 has been circulated among you. And with your permission, I take it as read. There are a lot of you whose email IDs that we have, but there are a few whose email IDs we still don't have. And if you're logged in, please connect with our secretarial department so that we can be in more closer touch with you through emails and other. It will be easier for us to send further details that we would like to share with you. Now, as far as the overall economic scenario goes, we all know that the world is passing through a huge, challenging environment and unprecedented, and something that is impacting every single country on the globe. I mean, this is completely unprecedented, and it has, brought in various implications. And we are also clear that the new normal, as and when we reach that new normal, is also going to leave behind some unique impacts. India's own GDP growth has been severely impacted, and we are looking at challenges on the economy front. Having said that, we also see that some of the sectors are bouncing back a little gradually, but bouncing back, while some sectors will require a kind of a painful support kind of a thing to bounce back. And this aspect of it is something which I would feel will carry through probably in Q3, and from Q4 onwards is when we see that the recovery process will be much more evident, is how we see it today. We are optimistic that with the government's moves and the initiatives taken by Reserve Bank and the Finance Ministry for a variety of remedial measures in order to help some of the sectors which are into problem. Plus, most important is, I believe that the entrepreneurial spirit that is there in the Indian entrepreneurs, both put together, that we will soon have recoveries from this turbulence that we are seeing. As far as the year that went by, it was indeed one of the most challenging years that we went through. And frankly speaking, all what could go wrong did go wrong. While we started with the positive note that our new nitric acid complex at Dahej was commissioned, but we faced severe headwinds because of an overall slowdown in the economy. The financial sector in particular was very, very challenged. We had huge dumping of IPA from China during that phase. The monsoons played pranks last year. It started and it stopped, then it again started. And that brought in a variety of challenges for the fertilizer sector. And so also the mining sector, which then got severely impacted because monsoon does hamper the mining activities. And then if that were not enough, at the fag end of the year, we were hit by COVID and the supply chain disruptions. Now, from an overall perspective, certainly things are looking up, and I will just share shortly. But one of the most important, I would say, principal messages I want to share with the August body here is the kind of initiatives we took all around in order to bounce back. And as they say, when the situation gets tough, let the tough get going. And we saw this as an opportunity to relook at all aspects of business, right from strategy, organization structure, systems and processes, focus on new marketing channels, focus on customer orientation. and bringing in digitalization. I mean, all areas. We said that this is a wonderful opportunity to recast, relook, and somewhere re-strengthen. And that aspect of it is something that we focused on, and I must share and really appreciate that various management teams at various, in various functions focused on this change initiative, transformative initiative. And I very deeply believe that we have laid the foundation of a much more leaner and meaner Deepak. And we have already started seeing some green shoots and some positive improvements, which I'll also talk about. So the industrial chemicals business focused on, again, bringing a value-added kind of an approach. Our new nitric acid plant, I will share that, with all the initial teething troubles, that the team worked at it to bring in all the knowledge base that we have over the last, I would say, 30 years in other nitric acid plants for this new one that we were setting up at the edge. And, as the year came to a close, we did reach, I would say, good capacities for the first year. And the team has laid a good foundation for close to capacity utilization and efficiency measures in the years ahead. Our fertilizer team, and which is where we were most challenged, I think worked 24/7 to look at repositioning our products from a commodity kind of a space, commodity NPK space, to crop-specific value-added fertilizers. And with all the tough measures, moved from competitive pricing to actually premium pricing or value pricing. After we looked at 13,000, 15,000 demo plots, and based on the results, that we reposition ourselves and the fertilizers that we were marketing. Even during the COVID times, the team did not lose hope, and we moved to, I would say, digital communication links with the farmers and the retailers. And in a massive way, we've had webinars and all. And it's surprising how every challenge can bring a new strength into us. And so the full focus has been to move from a product-centric business to a crop-focused farmer-centric business. And that is something which, while we see the green shoots in terms of the results itself, but going forward, this is going to have a very large transformative impact on our sector, the fertilizer sector. The technical ammonium nitrate team also refocused themselves from a product sale to a very strong focus on the mine requirement, mine productivity. And extensive studies were done with various mines and their needs and the strata of the soil and what could be done to also bring in the world's best practices into India, and also focus on a lot of regulatory changes that will be required in order to make this happen at the grassroots level. And this is something which I would feel the year that went by, we spent it well, so that in this coming year we could focus on execution, and then the years ahead we could look at climbing up the value chain from product to complete mining solutions. As far as the financial performance goes, the company reported a total revenue of 4,685 crores in financial year 2020, compared to 6,742 crores in the previous year. Now, this decline was a conscious and a premeditated move, a premeditated initiative. What we decided was that we refocus and recast our trading portfolio to then make sure that we focus on the critical products that help our overall manufacturing business. And the result was that the chemical trading, we brought it down from 1,400 crores year on year in fertilizer trading. We brought it down by 400 crores odd, so that the focus remains on the manufactured product. Now, this conscious moderation has brought a desired upside, and I'm happy to share that the operating margins moved up from 6.8% in FY 2019 to 9.9% in the FY 2020. I'm also pleased to report that despite the additional drawing that we did for long-term loans for projects, the total debt of your company was brought down by 104 crores as of March 2020 compared to March 19. The total debt was further reduced by about 296 crores as on 30th June 2020. And this all-round efforts of marketing, cost controls, collection drives, and things of that kind have resulted into a further, I would say, a strengthening of our debt position. The gross debt to equity ratio of a company improved by 0.1x to 1.3x in March 2020. And your company's credit rating was reaffirmed by ICRA at A+ stable for long-term bank facility and A1 for short-term banking facility. So despite all the challenges, I think this trial all-round drive to bring improvement has laid a robust foundation and a credible balance sheet despite all the challenges that we are seeing for everyone in the industry. And this is something that is going to be a good base for us to further, strengthen our commitment to growth. As I look to the current year, one aspect that I might share is that we saw that all three of our sectors, in a sense, have proved to be COVID resistant, if I might use that word. And what we saw was that they all fell into essential commodities. So we got a lot of support from the government to continue manufacturing. And one aspect that I've been sharing with all of you even earlier, that all of our three sectors are very well aligned with the country's growth story. And during this period, it was reaffirmed where fertilizers with food security, our industrial chemicals, pharma chemicals, IPA with the hand sanitizers and the needs for the pharmaceutical sector, and the technical ammonium nitrate for coal mining, for limestone cement, for infrastructure. So this strong alignment with the country's needs stood us very well, and this is something which has given us great strength even during the tough COVID times. Certainly, we went through tough times somewhere with the supply chain disruptions, somewhere the initial fear and anxiety of people to come to work, contractors to come to work, Mathadis to come to work. But having gradually build their confidence by a variety of measures for protection and safety that we took at the plant. They also saw that, look, we were doing the best we could. And, this aspect of it helped us to bounce back, and in comparison to the others in the industry, certainly bounce back in a better fashion. So with the good monsoon, what we saw was that there was a very good beginning of the Kharif season, and with the relationship that we had developed through the e-mechanism and digital mechanism, that we saw the fertilizer sector doing definitely much better than what we were worried about. In fact, I'm very happy to share once again that the first quarter, which I would say saw the reflection of all the good initiatives, the good monsoon, and the thrust and drive that the management team has been putting in. The first quarter of 2021, the top line in Q1 21 grew by 23% year on year to rupees 1,382 crores, and the net profit bolstered by 11 times to 121 crores. Of course, the previous one was very muted, but nevertheless, this is one aspect that has come in as a very, very strong boost to us. And while the IPA prices did surge because of the hand sanitizer, and this was a global phenomenon, the fertilizer segment contributed to about 43% of the top line. And fertilizer segment delivered third consecutive profitable quarter. As you recall that post the large capex that we had taken up, we had gone through a very tough and challenging time for the fertilizer sector. And it was very relieving to have now a very, very positive turnaround of the sector. From a medium-term, long-term perspective, I'm very happy to share that the government has taken some distinct steps, including what they have now approved in the Rajya Sabha, the steps towards the agriculture sector and the steps towards the mining sector. Both those are very clear and I would say impactful transformative moves that are going to help us in our fertilizer and TAN business as we go forward. As I said, we are working hard on bringing the power of digitization in Deepak so that this becomes a very strong backbone for all the businesses, including our own, I would say, improvement in productivity and working, where we have, gone to a very strong push on working from home, automation of a lot of the critical processes, paperless processes, and most important, the digital marketing processes, and helping the sales force with digital technology. These are going to immensely improve the productivity and reach as we go forward. We are also looking at connecting and tying up with the digital ecosystem so that with appropriate partners and other innovative strategies so that we can speeden up our journey on the digitization. I must also share that all our three sectors are an integral part of the India growth story, as I explained, and is aligned with our Prime Minister's vision and dream of Atmanirbhar Bharat. And as we go forward, we are going to build on it, and entrench ourselves to deliver more and more value to the Indian economy. As far as our capacity enhancements also go, the CAPEX plan for each of our existing businesses and the backward integration drive that we have taken up, plus also the forward integration strategic initiatives that, in each of the sectors that we have taken up. Those we strongly believe that we will be well poised to capitalize on the opportunities in the domestic market, but also leverage our last 40 years of experience in those sectors. So in conclusion, I would like to share my personal gratitude to all our customers, business associates, financial institutions, banks, stakeholders, including the central and state government who have been very supportive. And of course, above all, my board members who have always been there to help us. Above all, also my deep appreciation and gratitude for the whole management team that has stood up, in this challenging period and has, taken up the challenge on all fronts. So with this, my best wishes to you and your families. Stay safe. We have some challenges still ahead of us, and it requires that we follow prudently the social distancing norms and other aspects. And this too shall pass, as they say. Post my broad update, I would request Ms. Amita Bhargav, our CFO and President Finance, to take us through more, I would say, granular updates and financial figures through a PowerPoint presentation. And then post that, we will be, of course, having our usual open session for questions and answers. Amitabh?
Thank you, Chairman. Good morning and welcome to 40th Annual General Meeting of Deepak Fertilizer. Esteemed board members, shareholders, ladies and gentlemen, I'll just quickly take you through the details of our last year's operational and financial numbers. Is the presentation? Are you able to see the presentation? I presume that the presentation is flashed on the screen. As you can see, the agenda for this presentation is from what I'll take you through is the key achievements and milestones during the year FY 19-20.
Next, please.
Next.
Yeah.
So this is the agenda for the presentation. Can you please move to the next slide? So I think some of these points Chairman also mentioned, but just to recap that, in first quarter last year in FY 20, we started with the commencement of production of our nitric acid plant at Dahej, Gujarat in April 2019. And the other significant achievement was that we secured funding tie-up of $60 million from International Finance Corporation, IFC, which is part of the World Bank Group. In the second quarter, we established 100% production capability for the nitric acid plant that we had commissioned in first quarter. Of course, we had, as Chairman had also mentioned during last year's annual general meeting and various updates that we kept giving to shareholders, we were looking at monetization of our non-core assets, and we did in Q2. We sold 75% stake in one of our subsidiaries, Desai Foods. IFC, which had committed their investment in Q1, they successfully subscribed to first tranche of $30 million of investments through FCCB and CCB in Deepak Fertilizer and our 100% subsidiary SmartChem respectively. In Q3, fertilizer business reported a positive segment profit after 5 quarters. And post that, you've been seeing the performance of fertilizer segment. SmartTech, which is our value-added product, its sales grew to 69%. That is in first 9 months FY 20 compared to 46% in 9 months FY 19. We had challenges in Q2 towards the end of Q2, but we overcame that, and the water supply was restored in October of 2019 after almost a blanket water cut by MIDC on all units at Talota, which we had also briefed the shareholders earlier that we had to intervene in the court because that we felt that was very clearly a wrong step taken by the authorities. We completed the monetization of non-core assets, and we sold our industrial land in Dahej for nearly about 100 crores in Q3. In Q4, we cautiously consolidated our trading portfolio, and that was in fact the whole process. But by the time of Q4, we could clearly show that we have taken steps in terms of reducing the trading portfolio. Our credit rating was reaffirmed by ICRA, long-term A+, stable, and short-term bank facilities of A1. We brought down the gross debt to equity ratio from 1.34x by March 20 compared to 1.45x as on 31st March 2019. Next slide, please. So our operating EBITDA, as you can see, has progressively got better. In 2018-19, we were at 6.8%. And in 2019-20, we ended up with 9.9% EBITDA margins, accumulated EBITDA of 464 crores. In Q1 FY 2021, it climbed up sharply to 19.7%, and Chairman earlier mentioned the performance of IPA and the effect of constant improvement in the fertilizer segment. And we clocked 272 crores EBITDA in Q1 of FY 21. Obviously, the net profit also went up from 2018-19 from 1.1% up to 1.9% in 19-20 to 89 crores. And in Q1 FY 21, 121 crores, which is 8.8%. Again, very sharp jump from 19-20 performance. As a result, we saw very good collections in the market, and we had, while most of the other corporates were perhaps relying on RBI, various sort of incentives given by RBI under the COVID scheme. We not only did not avail any of those benefits, we reduced our debt substantially, down from 1.45 times equity in 18-19 to 1.34 times, and further reduced it to 1.14 times by the end of Q1 FY21. Next slide, please. So this is, again, in terms of numbers, nitric acid, our Dahej plant, we completed the year with overall capacity utilization of approximately 65%. Of course, we faced challenges in the initial quarters, but then by the time of third and fourth quarter, we actually achieved almost 100% capacity utilization. As a result, our revenues in H1 were 74 crores from this plant, went up to 106 crore in the second half of the year. This plant, as you know, has a total production capacity of 92,000 tons of concentrated nitric acid and 148,000 tons of dilute nitric acid. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Now, the fertilizer segment, as Chairman was also mentioning earlier, it saw the transformation and essentially three main factors: market development, the product salience of our SmartTech product, and specific focus on certain crops and geographies gave us this result where we, as you can see, almost a huge improvement from only 13,000 tons in FY18 to 123,000 tons in FY19. And we closed the year FY20 with 222,000 tons. And this was, by the time we finished the FY20, we had sold 3.58 lakh tons to more than 1 million farmers who had experienced our SmartTech product. 17,000 plus demos of SmartTech were undertaken across geographies for establishing the proof of the concept. And this is what we believe in the coming quarters would help us enhance our capacity utilization. We are, even with this performance, we are actually utilizing our capacities to less than 50%. So you see there's a huge operating leverage that we have as our SmartTech product gains dominance in the market. We again, the salience of this product, where farmers have seen anywhere between 12 to 15% increase in their overall yields. It ensured highest quality of produce in terms of the size, color, and the quality of produce. And the crops that we targeted were cotton, sugarcane, onion, paddy, groundnut, and various vegetables and fruits. Next slide, please. We forayed into IPA-based hand sanitizer space, and this was an initiative in terms of moving closer to our customers. We launched IPA-based hand sanitizer under the brand name Cororid, which conforms to World Health Organization's recommended formulations. There were four different products, as you can see. The picture is also on the slide. It's one of the, as you know, IPA is world's most preferred active ingredient in hand sanitizer and rubbing alcohol. We are gradually shifting our focus from a key raw material supplier of IPA for hand sanitizer market to the final hand sanitizer product producers. The good thing is that while we were facing all kinds of challenges, the operations team got all the necessary approvals and licenses in a very short period of time. We obtained the consent to establish to produce this product in our factory from Maharashtra Pollution Control Board. We got trademark registration, FDA license for different products, wholesale drug license, and NABL-led test results. We launched it through B2C, B2B, and B2G markets. We have tied up with a leading logistic partner to ensure pan-India smooth supply of our product. And then we've launched it on multiple e-commerce platforms such as Amazon, Flipkart, Snapdeal, ShopClues, BigBasket, Netmeds, MedLife, etc. The total market size of hand sanitizer, which was pre-COVID, was about 100 crores, is expected to cross nearly 400 crores per annum. While we made a small beginning, and this is compared to our overall IPA segment, is today less than 1%, but it holds huge potential in terms of the profitability and moving closer to the customer, as our chairman had earlier mentioned, our very clear strategy in all our products. Next slide, please. This is more in terms of the numbers that we've seen that turnaround in the fertilizer business. As you can see, while the fertilizer revenues came down from 2,273 crores to 1,911 crores, primarily by reduction in segment of manufacturing, we were marginally higher. But more importantly, our margins moved up from negative 1.7% to 1.7% by the end of FY20. We are now seeing in fertilizer HCC Q1 FY21. Again, we saw some challenges in terms of evacuation and production. Otherwise, perhaps we would have had, given our momentum that we had gained by Q3, Q4, we would have had perhaps better quarter in Q1, but we ended up with 597 crores of revenue with 7.3% margins, and again, the third consecutive quarter of positive margins. In the chemical segment, we reduced our revenue from 4,440 down to 2,745 crores, but as you will see later, we increased it as far as the manufacturing products are concerned. It was primarily reduction of trading segment. The overall revenues, there were challenges in Q4 FY20, but by Q1, we've increased the margins to 29.3%. Last year, of course, we saw challenges with the TAN within chemical segment, while IP, of course, was going through challenges because of Chinese dumping. TAN also saw reduction because of delayed monsoon and excessive monsoon in the Q3 and Q4 period. I have already mentioned the various initiatives we have taken in terms of engineering this whole turnaround in fertilizer segment, which had product portfolio, change in product portfolio, value added, value-based pricing, cost optimization measures, and of course, to an extent, favorable monsoons and water levels also helped us. Next slide, please. Now here you would see the improvement in the quality of profit blend that we've seen from FY29 to FY20, where the fertilizer manufacture, which was 22% of our revenues, went up to 33%. Likewise, the chemical manufactured revenues were 37% in FY19. It went up to 47%. So overall, a significant shift and improvement in our quality of our revenues and profit. Next slide, please. As Chairman mentioned earlier, all of our products are well aligned with our India's growth story. And we not just are catering to these products which are part of the India growth story, but we hold significant market share in each of these products. We maintained our leadership position across these product segments in FY20 as well. In fertilizer business, 19% market share in our core command area in Maharashtra. In technical ammonium nitrate, 42% market share. In concentrated nitric acid, with 71% market share. In IPA, we had 65% market share in the country. Next slide, please. A quick overview of our projects CapEx projects that we had announced earlier. Ammonia project, which is part of our backward integration, and the TAN project, which is part of our capacity expansion, are obviously the whole rationale for setting up these two projects, but even more strengthened, particularly in ammonia. We saw the overall energy prices and particularly natural gas prices weakening short to medium term, and therefore the overall the raw material prices that we had assumed when we had conceptualized this product got even better, and it improved the viability of and the rationale for setting up this project. We've also done customized detailed studies from global research firms looking at the ammonia demand supply situation and the status of various investments into merchant capacities globally. And again, that came to a conclusion that given the demand supply, and we are seeing new applications of ammonia globally, and while not much has happened in terms of new investments in ammonia, and therefore these studies have again confirmed that by the time we set up our plants, the ammonia prices are likely to see significant improvement. And that is that further strengthens our rationale for setting up this project. Needless to say that the COVID and the impact that we saw in terms of land acquisition, getting approvals from government machineries, everything slowed down, and it is going to have an impact on the speed of execution of these projects. But we are looking at various strategies to contain the impact of this slowdown. In TAN, again, we continue to, and the government's Atmanirbhar and self-reliance initiatives, we are likely to see higher domestic coal production. Government has also opened up commercial mining and the long-term growth trends that we are seeing in housing and infrastructure sector. Our conviction to set up TAN expansion capacities on East Coast has got further supported by these fundamentals. We have already tied up in terms of the land on East Coast. We've also entered into commercial arrangement for import of ammonia at the neighboring port, and we are now looking at getting various statutory approvals which are under progress at different stages. Next slide, please. So this brings me to almost a closer of what I wanted to brief the shareholders on operations and our project. This slide is more to remind you of the board announcement that we had made earlier. That is from Monday, September 28th. We are launching our rights issue. It's approximately 180 crores we plan to raise through this issue. The issue price is at 133 rupees for fully paid up equity shares, including a premium of 123 rupees per share. For every 3 fully paid up equity shares, for every 20 fully paid up equity shares, the entitlement for equity shareholders would be 3 fully paid up equity shares. Rest of the details are more in terms of the record date, which is September 17, 2020. Lead managers, lead advisors, and various international legal counsel are mentioned on this slide. This brings me to the end of my presentation. Thank you very much, and we